Officer James Carter had made a habit of using his badge as a shield for his ego, a man intoxicated by power and insulated by a department that had looked the other way too many times. When he pulled over Lena Ahmed on a quiet Thursday evening, he didn't see a human being. He saw an opportunity to assert dominance, to remind someone of their place. What he didn't see, what he failed to understand, was that Lena wasn't just a woman driving home from work. She was a storm wrapped in stillness, a professor of constitutional law, a published author, a community leader, and the daughter of immigrants who had fled persecution only to build a new legacy rooted in resistance and resilience. That evening, Lena was returning from a local youth center where she had volunteered her time to teach underprivileged teens about their rights, their power, and their voice. She wore a deep green blouse, her dark curls pulled back into a loose bun, eyes heavy with fatigue but soul brimming with purpose. When Carter approached her car with a flashlight and a frown, there was no probable cause, no justification, just the smell of control. "License and registration," he snapped, his tone devoid of basic decency. "Do you know why I pulled you over?" he asked, not waiting for an answer. "No, officer," she said, voice calm, hands visible. "Was I speeding?" But her poise only provoked him further. He glanced at her license, saw her name, and muttered, "Of course." "Thought so." Without warning, he tore it down the middle and let the pieces drift to the pavement like fallen leaves. Lena inhaled but didn't break. She had taught too many young people how to survive these moments to lose her own control now. Slowly, she picked up her phone and began recording. "You think that phone's gonna save you?" Carter mocked. "You people always think you're special." What he didn't know was that a cyclist across the street, a former student of Lena's, had already begun recording from another angle, and he knew exactly who she was. The video hit the internet within 20 minutes. By the time Lena called her university's legal team, the story had already spread across 5 platforms, and the hashtags Jogger Lena, Deserves Justice, and Unfit to Serve were trending. But Carter, smug and uninformed, continued his violations, searching her car without consent, rifling through her case notes, mocking her lectures as anti-police trash. And still, Lena said nothing. Not because she was weak, but because she understood that silence, when intentional, can be louder than rage. That night, she drafted a legal brief and a press statement. By morning, she stood on the steps of the police department beside lawyers, professors, students, and civil rights advocates. She didn't speak as a victim. She spoke as a citizen holding the system accountable. Inside, Carter laughed it off to colleagues. "People blow these things up all the time," he said. "Nothing ever sticks." But then the mayor's office issued a statement. Then the governor. Then CNN requested an interview. The department scrambled. Carter's disciplinary record, long hidden, was leaked, showing years of misconduct swept under rugs. A citywide investigation was launched. Lena became the face of a movement she never asked to lead, but one she was born prepared for. Her classroom lectures turned into televised town halls. Her articles were reprinted in national papers. She was invited to testify before state lawmakers. Through it all, she never centered herself. "This isn't about one officer," she told the crowd of thousands at the March for Integrity. "It's about a structure that teaches men like him that they are untouchable. We are here to end that lesson for good." Carter was stripped of his badge, named in a civil suit, and became a case study in every police ethics seminar statewide. But the real story wasn't his fall, it was her rise. Lena launched a nonprofit that provided legal resources to victims of state violence. She traveled from city to city, not preaching, but listening, empowering, equipping. Months later, when a reporter asked her what gave her the strength to stay composed that night, she smiled and said, "I've studied power all my life." The mistake he made wasn't underestimating me, it was overestimating his immunity. The truth doesn't need to shout to be heard, it just needs to be seen. And that night, it was. Lena had been called a nobody, a foreigner, a threat. But she walked through fire with purpose and became a lighthouse for everyone lost in the storm. If you were inspired by this story, make sure to subscribe to the Story Hub and press the bell icon to never miss a powerful story like this. See you in the next chapter.